heart pounding, can't breathe, hands shaking, the clear, certain feeling that you are about to die, no actual threat anywhere. That's not anxiety, that's a false alarm in a circuit that evolved to keep you alive. About 1 in 5 adults has one of these episodes. 2 to 3% develop a pattern and a specific fear of the next one. Today, what the brain is doing in those minutes, and where the line falls. A panic attack by DSM-5 text revision criteria is an abrupt surge of fear or discomfort that peaks within minutes. To count, it needs at least 4 of 13 symptoms: racing heart, can't breathe, chest pain, dizziness, fear of dying, and so on. A panic attack is a single event. A panic disorder is a pattern. Recurrent unexpected attacks plus at least 1 month of worrying about the next one or changing your behavior because of them. The line isn't the intensity of one attack. Someone can have one brutal attack and never meet panic disorder criteria. The line is the pattern, plus the fear of the next one. About 1 in 5 adults has at least one panic attack in their lifetime. 2 to 3% have the pattern at any given year. There is a circuit in your brain whose only job is to detect threats and fire a response faster than you can think. The center of it is the amygdala. Joseph Ledoux mapped this in the 1990s. Sensory information reaches the amygdala by 2 paths. A slow path through the cortex, where context is added, and a fast path straight from the thalamus. The fast path takes about 15 milliseconds. The slow path takes 40 plus. By the time your cortex says, "That's just a stick, not a snake," your amygdala has already started the response. The response itself is a cascade. The amygdala signals the locus coeruleus, the brain's noradrenergic core, which floods the body with sympathetic activation. Heart rate up, breathing fast, sweat on. In parallel, the hypothalamus triggers the HPA axis, hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal, and a cortisol surge. Normally, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex inhibits the amygdala. It says false alarm, stand down. In panic disorder, that inhibition runs weaker. Multiple functional MRI studies, including a 2024 multi-center analysis in molecular psychiatry, show reduced top-down regulatory coupling between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala in panic disorder patients. The amygdala fires. The body responds. The cortical override is late. That's the false alarm. Fully built, fully launched, with no actual threat behind it. Watch what this circuit does in real life. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Someone is sitting at a desk. Nothing has happened. They notice their heart is beating a little harder than usual. Maybe from coffee, maybe from standing up too fast. The amygdala registers it. Heart pounding without a clear cause is evolutionarily useful data. It could mean something is wrong. So the amygdala signals the locus coeruleus. The sympathetic surge starts. Within seconds, the heart is genuinely racing. Breathing accelerates. Sweat breaks out. The body is in full alarm. Now the second part. The insula tracks the body's state. The anterior cingulate tags it as something is wrong. The cortex generates an interpretation. I'm having a heart attack. I can't breathe. I'm going to die. That interpretation is the new threat. The amygdala fires again. The surge intensifies. Body sensations get stronger. The interpretation gets stronger. The attack escalates itself. This is the feedback loop, and it's not a metaphor. David Clark described it in 1986. The neural correlates are now well mapped. There's a parallel mechanism. Donald Klein in 1993 proposed that the brain has a suffocation monitor. And in some people, it's hypersensitive. Ordinary carbon dioxide fluctuations register as impending asphyxia. Same alarm, same cascade. By the time the attack peaks, within 10 minutes, per DSM criteria, the person is convinced they're dying. The brain cannot distinguish the false alarm from a real one. The body's response is identical. If that loop pattern feels familiar, quick word from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by my own private community. Over 100,000 deep dive courses on psychology, neuroscience, and cognition. If today made the mechanism click, and you want deeper material on the amygdala, fear circuits, and clinical anxiety, that's what's inside. Link is in the description below. Now, back to why this circuit exists at all. The amygdala-based threat detection system is one of the oldest neural circuits in the mammalian brain. The fast path, the one that fires before the cortex catches up, exists because evolutionarily, false positives are cheaper than false negatives. Freezing or fleeing from a stick that turned out not to be a snake costs nothing. A few seconds, a small spike of cortisol. Freezing or fleeing from an actual snake saves the mammal. So the system evolved to be fast, sensitive, and hard to override. The cortical override is slower than the threat output. That is not a bug. In an ancestral environment with real predators, that calibration was adaptive. In an environment with no immediate physical predators, but plenty of ambiguous internal cues, caffeine, stuffy rooms, dizziness from standing, the same calibration produces false alarms. The system is doing what it evolved to do. The environment changed faster than the circuit could. What does the evidence say about a panic attack in progress? First, it ends. The attack is self-limiting. Sympathetic surge cannot be sustained. Receptors desensitize. Catecholamines clear. Parasympathetic rebound kicks in. Per DSM, peak within 10 minutes. Most resolve fully within 20 to 30. Second, no documented case of a panic attack causing direct medical harm in an otherwise healthy person. The fear, I'm dying in the next 30 seconds, is anatomically wrong. The body has homeostatic limits that prevent it. Third, cognitive attribution research going back to Clark in the 80s shows something specific. When the catastrophic interpretation is replaced, when bodily sensations get re-tagged as predictable output of a false alarm circuit, instead of I'm dying, the loop runs weaker on the next attack. The cortical interpretation is the loop's amplifier. That isn't advice, it's an observation. The loop's behavior depends on what the cortex says about it. The clinical question, when isolated attacks become a panic disorder, is the same as anywhere else. Recurrent, unexpected attacks, plus a month or more of fearing the next one, or changing behavior. That's the line. It's a clinician's call, not a YouTube video's. Heart pounding, can't breathe, hands shaking, the certain feeling that you're about to die. The amygdala didn't malfunction. It did its job. It detected a possible threat too sensitively, too fast, with cortical override that hadn't caught up. And it fired the same alarm that has kept mammals alive for 100 million years. That alarm runs the same whether the threat is real or not. The body cannot tell. Your brain is different. Here's the science. We'll do OCD next. If that's the explanation you've been waiting for, subscribe.